Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Sam v United People's TV. I believe we are live. You can let me know in the comments below if you can hear me, if you can see me. Good morning. Last night we went live again. Of course, that was the Jim Ratcliffe official announcement. And it was you can hear me? Okay, good. Facebook comments I can see you. YouTube comments I can see you. It was I don't know what to call it last night. I mean, we knew it had happened, but to finally get the official announcement felt like a big moment. Well, it was an official moment. And now we're going to speak about what's coming next. Jim Ratcliffe has pledged that it's just the beginning. He wants to continue this overhaul. And I tell you what, this overhaul's going... I knew it was going to be big and deep at this overhaul, but it seems to be accelerating further. We're going to speak about Dan Ashworth, the latest on him, and how Manchester United... it's not that Man United are planning for the summer without him, but I think United feel that they can cope without Dan Ashworth, which might be an interesting one. I'm going to speak about him. I'm going to speak about the appointments that are going to be following, because we are looking not only at Omar Barada and Dan Ashworth, but also the conversations around Jason Wilcox. And on top of that, another head of recruitment appointment. So that will be 4 new faces, and maybe even more than that, coming into the structure. There's a lot going on. I'm going to run through all of it in the latest on that. Going to run through the conversations around the summer transfer budget after an article from James Ducker in the Telegraph yesterday. What about Jim Ratcliffe's 200 million that he's invested already? What about the extra 100 million he's going to pledge? Can Man United spend that? How does it affect it? We'll speak about that. All right. So there's lots and lots we can have a conversation about this morning, and I'm looking forward to it. Natasha, software playing up? No, the software's not playing up. I accidentally didn't enter the stream key, so it didn't actually start the stream properly, but I'm pretty sure that we're here, we're live, we're kicking. Shax, you ledge. Look at that, 5 gifted. I don't know what to say anymore. You might think that my reaction to, oh no, that is playing up. Oh dear, oh no. We've got a play up here. Oh, I'm not sure I'm going to press those anymore. Encoding overloaded. Right. Okie dokie. I'm not sure what happened there. I might not press those buttons just for this show. I think that there might actually be a problem with the software here today. I have got about 40 windows. The computer I need to do this. I've got about 40 windows open there. I might close that. See if that helps. I might close that. See if that helps. I don't need that anymore either. Right. Okay. Hopefully that will feel a little bit better. Chaos streaming coming. It might well be the case. Who's here from the member gang? Cormac, Ross, good morning to you. Gungshi, you're there as well. Let's see if this does overload it again. I'm only going to try it one more time. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Let's find out. Right, okay, so that's overloading. There's something wrong with this. This is the first time that we've got that. I won't press that anymore. 1 sec. Let that go through. Right. Unfortunately, ladies and gents, the buttons aren't working today. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm not going to press it. I'm just going to keep the stream nice and clean, and it works. But who else is on Facebook? Good morning to Ibrahim. We've got Mel. We've got Danny, Scott, Wayne. I will do a little restart after. We'll get it sorted. The software is indeed software in this morning. It was because we did an extra show last night. He goes, mate, I'm chilling. Old school gong, says Brian. The old school gong comes out of retirement for today, all right? Because I'm not pressing those buttons again. Now, can we have a little conversation here, all right? Can we have a little conversation here? Because I've always been a big fan of Bayern Munich, me. Always been a massive fan. Always been a massive fan. Anyway, Bayern Munich have announced that Thomas Tuchel will be leaving the club in the summer, which is obviously big news. And they are getting ahead of that train because they want Xabi Alonso. Bayern Munich and Liverpool both wanting Xabi Alonso. Who do you think will get him? Type it in the comments. Software having a bigger meltdown than Tuchel. I don't know why it's overloaded. My CPU is currently working at 3.8%. That's how much CPU I'm using. So it's not that at all. I don't really know what it is, but I'm sure that I can fix it with a bit of a restart. Garlic Bread, man, I can see you've gifted 5 memberships as well, dude. Let's go old school. Lots of you in the comments here. Paul, do you think he goes Bayern? Akash, you think he goes Bayern? Danny, Top Death Angel, Mr. Anderson, you think Bayern? Zuraj on Facebook, you think Zidane's next at Bayern? Ratcliffe takeover being more successful than your software takeover. Questionable, I think. Actually, no, it was definitely more successful. Yeah, it was definitely more successful. I would say, look, the majority of you down there are saying Bayern Munich. I hope that's the case. I really, really hope that is the case. But my personal inclination is that he would choose Liverpool. I suppose it depends on what stage in his career he wants to go to, because the two clubs I think he's aiming for, or maybe the three clubs, to be honest, is Bayern Munich, Liverpool and Real Madrid. And I think Bayern Munich, Liverpool and Real Madrid are three of the biggest five clubs in world football. The other two, of course, are Man United and Barcelona. So Xabi Alonso could, in theory, manage all three clubs in his career. Let's see how he goes. But Liverpool fans will be squeaky bum time there. But Tuchel is leaving Bayern Munich. Let's see what happens. Maybe he stays in Germany. Maybe he does stay in Germany. But this summer, conceivably, actually no, not conceivably, this summer, Barcelona are looking for a new manager, right? Bayern Munich are now looking for a new manager. Liverpool are looking for a new manager. And as it stands, Manchester United aren't. But I can't say with complete confidence that I think Erik ten Hag will be Manchester United's manager next season. I think it massively depends on how we do between now and the end of the season. If we can continue to see some progress and that identity really coming into the team. We're getting the results right now. 5 wins in a row, 4 Premier League wins in a row. Fulham coming up next, and then City, of course. So Ten Hag, Carl Anker said it, and it stuck with me. Ten Hag is basically an interim manager for Manchester United right now. If he can prove himself, I think he'll stay. But there is a possibility, right, that 4 out of the 5 biggest clubs in world football are looking for a manager in the same summer. Liverpool, Man United, Bayern Munich, and Barcelona. Has that ever... I'm not sure that's ever happened before. In fact, I can be pretty confident in saying that that's not happened before. 4 out of 5 of the... Potentially. Definitely 3 out of the 5, but maybe 4 out of 5. And that's why United are in a sort of an interesting position. Because Jim Ratcliffe, I think, will want to give Erik ten Hag time, because all the turmoil that's happening at our football club right now, I think the last thing that Ineos want or need is to need a new manager. We haven't got our CEO. He can't come in to the club until the summer because of gardening leave. Dan Ashworth, I mean, at the absolute very earliest, will come in the summer. So that's our sporting director, who won't be there either. So if you can't have your sporting director or your CEO in the club, how can you accurately plan and replace Erik ten Hag? I don't really think you can. Nuruddin, you gifted a couple of memberships down there, dude. Go for little tickles. I don't know why it's overloading the software there. It's a bit strange. But at least it's not crashing the stream. We can do the normal show as we can. All the buttons are working up there. That's good. I can read all of your comments. I just can't have the sexy on-screen gongage. All right? All's fine with the broadcast. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is it's not me, Natasha. This will be on you. That's what everyone's saying in the comments. Anyway, let's go and let's talk about what happened yesterday. Because we waited a long old time for that statement, didn't we? How long was it? Can someone give me the exact dates? I think it was around... I'm going to guess like 20th of November. 2020... What year? 2? Is it 2022? Was it November 22 when they put that statement out? They must have been. And then yesterday was the 20th. I don't know if it was bang on the 20th. It might not be in the 20th. I can't remember the actual date. But what's that? 12 months? December, January, February. 15 months. 15 months. That's how long we waited for that statement. Now, I really like to think that Ineos just chose this colour branding on purpose. I really like to think. I mean, if you look into Ineos's branding, this colour scheme is actually one of their main colour schemes, all right? But I like to think that they were that petty that they whipped out the Qatari colours. Nuruddin, you gifted a membership down there to Anthony. You're now best buds for life. I don't know whether Ineos would have been that petty, but I like to think so. I think it's quite a hilarious concept. I'm so glad that it's now it's officially behind us. All the bullshit around the Qatari potential takeover and the Ratcliffe potential takeover. 15 months of my life that bloody dominated. 15 months. And I had to deal with some madnesses on here. Hey, look, I'm thick-skinned. You really have to be thick-skinned to exist in this space. Because when you're in a pub and you're with a group of mates, you're talking to your group of mates. All you can hear is your conversation. You might hear some arsehole at the bar, but you don't really have to listen to him. You close him out. Boom. When you're on the internet, everybody's in that circle. And anybody can shout at you, say what they want, and do what they want. And sometimes you see them, you can distract them. I have people calling me racist, people calling me xenophobic. I'm like, man, that's the madness of the whataboutery here. I don't know how you're linking that apple with that orange. Like, man, they're two distinctly different things. You're trying to drag me down into, and I had to. We went through some serious conversations and some serious moral dilemmas. Yeah, there were definite moral dilemmas. At one point, I reached a point where I was like, I think it was when I did the interview with Nicholas McGeehan, who works with human rights charity groups, and I was speaking to him about problems. I don't think I did that about Qatar. Who was that I did that on? Was that Abu Dhabi? No, it wasn't that. Was it Dubai? It might have been Dubai that conversation was about. Anyway, that's all in the past now. Because we've got the official confirmation. Nuruddin is getting happy down there with his single gifted memberships. He's splitting them all out to everyone today. And Dino Kappa, he's building some lifelong friendships there. Bricky on YouTube, you're saying, Sam, do you think Frankie de Jong will be a conversation again this summer? Hey, dude, I really hope not, man. I really, really hope not. Ramon, I'm not going to be reading that super chat out, and I'm not going to be speaking about that on this show. Yeah, I'm just not. We're here talking about Manchester United, and I will speak about Manchester United and everything related to Manchester United. Right, what's the next talking point up here? Of course, Jim Ratcliffe has pledged that this IQ, you said minority investment is a nightmare. Yeah, I remember what I said. I keep track in my head of man, the amount you've had to sort of chop and change, and I've had to compromise myself as a fan, for sure. Absolutely, for sure. I remember when the Ratcliffe stuff came out, and I said it was like it felt like the worst case scenario, because the worst case scenario was the Glazers getting some money in and staying on. What's happened is the Glazers have managed to get minority investment, but to get the minority investment, they've had to give over the majority, in fact, all control of the football operations of our club. That is a different. You might want to try and put words in my mouth and say that it's not different. It's the exact same thing. They are very different things. Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos are now in complete control of all. Complete control of all football operations at Manchester United. Now, if that was a conversation that existed when I spoke about minority investment, then it would have been a different conversation at that point in time. And they have started with a bang, right? We've got Omar Barada in. We've got Dan Ashworth, who, well, he's not in, right? Liam, you're saying Ashworth saga's a new Frankie de Jong saga. No, not at all, man. Frankie de Jong, we never knew whether he wanted to come to Manchester United. We hoped he would. We hoped that he wanted to follow Erik ten Hag in the club. But We never knew. And that was painful. It felt like Manchester United kind of got led down the garden path there. Dan Ashworth has already handed in his resignation. All right? He's already handed in his resignation. He's already left. Even before Manchester United officially approached Newcastle, he left. Now, I'm going to read you the latest murmurs and whispers on the Ashworth situation. Truth be told, we are just kind of sitting there now, and we're just waiting for Newcastle and Man United to try and find a compromise. My prediction on what that compromise is? My prediction is that it's going to be a compensation figure around the 10 million mark. And I actually think that I get the feeling that this might be the case. I don't know. This is just a prediction, man. I've never been in the know. I never will be in the know. I'm not going to be the guy that tries to tell you things that are happening before they've happened. Right? This is what Daily Mail is saying. Mail Sport understands that while they would prefer Ashworth to be in place, United are prepared to complete their business in the forthcoming summer without him. Should Wilcox arrive from Southampton, he is likely to be placed in charge of the performance side, focusing on increasing important areas such as sports science, on which he will work closely with Brailsford. And it is understood another hire to sit alongside Wilcox will follow in due course. And that arrival will focus on recruitment. So that arrival will be the head of recruitment. So I think there is a possibility, right? I'm just thinking about potential outcomes, right? I think there's a possibility that Man United agree a deal with Newcastle for Dan Ashworth. Let's call it 10 million, just for all intents and purposes now, right? And then Man United bring in Jason Wilcox, who will be a recommendation from Omar Barada. And of course, Dan Ashworth will agree on Jason Wilcox being there because he's sporting director. He's going to be his direct boss. And that Jason Wilcox maybe takes a more central role. And Dan Ashworth will be in the background with a burner phone, just send that. I'm not doing anything. I'm in the garden. I'm just in the garden. I'm not doing anything. Dan Ashworth will be doing a bit of that. And if we get in ahead of recruitment as well, then we're going to have Omar Barada, we'll have Jason Wilcox, and we'll have a head of recruitment. That's probably enough to sit. It's not perfect, not perfect in any way, shape, or form. But Manchester United, what I personally feel here is I would rather Manchester United waited and got Dan Ashworth than Manchester United not waiting and going somewhere else just because we want to get someone in for the summer. I think if Man United create that structure of Omar Barada, Jason Wilcox, and I'm going to do a video on him. I haven't done it just yet because I'm waiting for it to become a little bit more concrete before I do my sort of who is Jason Wilcox. I'm going to do one, but not just yet. But I think United could probably cope with Omar Barada, Jason Wilcox, and if we get that head of recruitment in. And that's where the conversation, I think, gets interesting because there's a name that keeps being repeated, and it's kind of been repeated before. This is from The Athletic. Brailsford ideally wants Ashworth in before the summer. We know that. He's spoken internally about the need to shift the inertia that has plagued United for years and believes that making bold appointments quickly is one way to generate enthusiasm and momentum across the club. It's absolutely correct. The pursuit of Jason Wilcox falls into this category. And of course, the Jason Wilcox appointment, by the way, is going to be like a direct... it's a direct suggestion from Omar Barada. I'd be very, very surprised if this has come from... Look, it may well come from Brailsford and Ineos in some way, shape or form, but Academy Director at City for 5 years, worked under and worked with Omar Barada, not completely directly, but in a little bit. And that's where this name here keeps coming up. Julian Ward. Brailsford is also looking to appoint another executive primarily to cover recruitment. So this is the head of recruitment role we've been speaking about. And this is a big one. This is arguably, I don't think you can separate the importance out of Man United getting a CEO, Man United getting a sporting director, and Man United getting a head of recruitment. I think it's like arguing what's more important in a car, having 4 wheels or a steering wheel or a gear stick. You need all 3 of them to drive the car correctly and safely. And Man United need a CEO, a sporting director, and a head of recruitment all together at the same time. So you can't really say which one's more important than the other. If you're really going to argue it, you're probably going to say Omar Barada because he's at the top of the tree. He's the CEO overlooking everything. But Julian Ward and a head of recruitment, Brailsford's looking to bring in another executive primarily to cover recruitment, but the exact way of working is yet to be established. And I think this is the interesting part here, and this is probably the reason why this one hasn't really gone anywhere yet, right? Because I've spoken in depth about Paul Mitchell. You know what I think about Paul Mitchell. You know how much I feel he would be a perfect head of recruitment, right? I think he would be a perfect head of recruitment. I don't know whether he'd be happy to sit in that role against the hierarchy. And I've already done a couple of structure videos on Manchester United. I'm definitely going to do another updated one. My first one was kind of a prediction about what would happen. The second one I did was sort of, it's starting to emerge, but now it's kind of shifting and changing. And I think we're really starting to see what the final structure would be. Ramon, look, you sent a super chat, dude. Like, do that. I'll read out your super chat here. You're saying, honestly, love your work. Glad you're on the mend and wishing you all the best. Glad to catch you live from Melbourne. Thank you very much, dude. I appreciate that. And I know you sent your comments in there about asking about Israel, asking about Palestine, saying I shouldn't comment on human rights. Comment on human rights was forced on me because of the position that Manchester United were in. Because of who we were linked with being taken over. And I was then looking down these different routes and the questions had to be asked. If I then go into speaking about other things, I don't want to do that. And that's a personal choice. And people, you can have a go at me if you want. That's fine. I don't want to do that on here. And I didn't really want to have the conversations around everything to do with all the stuff around Qatari and any sort of potential state takeover, but I had to because it was coming straight to Manchester United. I hated how tough all that was, man. It was so grim. Steve, you ledge. Thanks very much for lightening the mood. And Ramon, Steve, that's for you. Thank you for gifting 5 memberships to everyone. And Ramon, thank you very much, man. I don't mean to sort of brush over these sorts of things, but geez, man. There is no right answer. Anyway. Moving on to more trivial things. The head of recruitment, I'm hoping we get some real movement on that now. It feels like Ineos have been doing this quite in a very structured way. Okay, we're going to start at the top. We're going to go for the CEO first. Boom, he's in. Right, who's next? Sporting director. Right, okay, good. Dan Ashworth, hand in your resignation. We're going to get you. Boom. All right. Sporting director. Now, that's not done. The negotiations are ongoing. But we're going to get Dan Ashworth. Don't know when it's going to happen. Don't know how much it's going to cost. But Dan Ashworth is going to be Manchester United's first true, proper sporting director. And I'm dead excited about that. I've already done a video on it. And Newcastle fans are trying. They've already reached the stage of... they've gone past the anger stage. I don't know what stage they're at now with grief with Dan Ashworth, but they're going to try and pretend now that he's not good. He's never done anything good. I will be better off without him. Okay. Okay, lads. Yeah, you do you. I'm really excited to have Dan Ashworth in charge of the sporting side at Manchester United, and he's going to be empowered quite a lot. I think he's probably going to be empowered more than he was at Newcastle. And I think that was kind of part of the problem. Eddie Howe was kind of having too much control. The structure at Newcastle kind of wasn't exactly how Dan Ashworth wanted it to be. It's fine. At United, it'll be different. But then now, next, it's that head of recruitment. And I'm hoping, hey, look, this is everything that we've wanted to happen to our club. The Glazers not being in control of football operations. Now, that's not exactly what we wanted. We wanted the Glazers gone. But can the Glazers have any sort of influence on what happens on the pitch now? No. Do they still make money from our football club? Yes. Is that sickening? Yes. Can that change? It will change over time. Hopefully, with Jim Ratcliffe continues to buy them out. But next on that list, in this massive overhaul, is going to be that head of recruitment. Now, Julian Ward is a name that is heavily, heavily linked. And it's going to be interesting to see whether it's Julian Ward. Another name that you might not like, but I think a name that genuinely will be considered is Dougie Freedman. I think he's done actually a lot of good, especially when you look at it from purely a recruitment perspective. What he's done at Crystal Palace and the spotting of talent is something that Dougie Freedman clearly has done very well. Whether it's Eze, whether it's Elise, whether it's Gehi, whether it's Adam Morton that they've just signed from Blackburn. Crystal Palace have got a very, 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 very good hit rate. And Fergie, of course, likes Dougie Freedman. That Fergie is going to be in like a position of influence. And in fact, I'm going to run through this because I think you'll find this quite interesting. It's from the Daily Mail yesterday. This is kind of like the situation of the current situation of the hierarchy, right? Nah, let's not be childish. Let's not be childish. Big kid. Anyway, right. Let's go back to this. Let's actually carry on with the show. So, you got Glazer and you got Ratcliffe at the top, right? Co-owners. And this is kind of the structure of the board underneath it, right? It's split into two boards. This is the PLC board. It's because Manchester United is a public limited company, right? This is the company. This is the board that faces the New York Stock Exchange and stuff like that. The Glazers still sit on there. Now, look, John Neese and Rob Nevin are the two Ineos representatives. So that although the Glazers do have control and majority control in the PLC board, there is a little bit of an Ineos influence. Patrick Stewart and Cliff Beattie, of course, are representatives of the club, but I imagine Patrick Stewart's going to be replaced by Omar Barada when he comes in, so that'll be another sort of Ineos influence. So the influence will grow there. The football board here, this is where Joel Glazer, you remember at the very beginning, what we were sold. Sam is on the meds. I'm much better on meds. No, I'm not. I'm really not. They're working though. The football board is originally we were told it was going to be Joel Glazer, Jim Ratcliffe, Dave Brailsford. That was what the board structure was going to be, and that Joel Glazer would still have an influence. Now it's shaping up very, very differently. Dave Brailsford, Jean-Claude Blanc, Ineos, Fergie and Gill will be there on a, I think on a, is there like an ambassador? It's not like an ambassador. He'll be there for like advice to be leaned on. I don't really think he'll have a massive influence on the board too much. But then below them is when we can really start to see it emerging. Omar Barada's there. You've got Dan Ashworth coming in. I imagine John Murtaugh's going to be leaving, right? I imagine John Murtaugh will be leaving. I don't really see. There is a potential for John Murtaugh to move back down. And you might not like it, but it's true. John Murtaugh did a hell of a lot of good work in the restructure of our academy. And I'm working on this right now. In fact, I might show you this. Now, this will get you excited. It certainly got me excited. Not in that way. Let me pull this up. I've got to turn the volume down on it because otherwise it'll blow your heads off. 1 second there. You can't see this. No, you can't see this. This is a video that we've got coming out. Oh, did you hear that? I think you did. Oh, baby. You ready for this? This is a deep dive that we've got coming out, and this is the intro to the deep dive. You're getting an exclusive here because this isn't coming out for a while. We're still working on it, but take a look at this. In fact, I can't show you it all because it's going to be a little bit too risky. I might show you part of it. Ready? United find Alejandro Garnacho and sign him for less than 500,000. Let me go up here. Oh, am I going to get shut down for copyright on this? I might just show you the end of it. I'm a bit worried now. I forgot about the copyright. Let's go up to this bit here. I shouldn't have done that. I'm worried now. Oh, I suppose we'll fuck. Oh, please don't get me shut down for copyright, man. It's so hard working in the football space and wanting to create this sort of content, and you can't use footage. I'm telling you, levels are going up. Levels are going up. So fingers crossed that actually doesn't get this live stream shut down for copyright. It may well do. But that's going to be a video that comes out, which is going to be the story of Manchester United's reborn academy. Following the last 8 years, all the changes that happened behind the scenes, and John Murtough was a big part of that. That's why I kind of got distracted and I wanted to show you that. Please don't shut it down. Don't give me a copyright strike. You know what happens if I get a copyright strike on this channel? I can't do live shows. Really shouldn't have done that. I'm an idiot for doing that. Now I'm worried. I might just go in and I might chop it out of the live show after. Anyway, shouldn't have done that. Feel like Haggard. Oh, shouldn't have said that. Shouldn't have said that. Right. Anyway. Yeah, Akash, it is some rule. Man, the copyright is no joke. It can absolutely annihilate the channel. I just got excited there. Damn it. Shouldn't have got excited. I'm an idiot. Anyway. Change is afoot. I imagine what comes next is a lot of movement with the head of recruitment. We already know our CEO. We already know who our sporting director is going to be. So fingers crossed, whatever's next is the head of recruitment. Now, that could be that Julian Ward is a name that keeps coming up more than once. Dougie Freedman is a name that I don't think has come... Dougie Freedman is a name that... I don't know. It's not really been spoken about too much apart from the initial links. Paul Mitchell, it's never really been... I just don't know whether it's because Paul Mitchell doesn't want to work in back in a head of recruitment role, because he was kind of a sporting director basically at Monaco. He led the Monaco vision. So to go from that to working underneath Dan Ashworth at Manchester United, it will be a step down for him. But watch this space is what I would say on the head of recruitment. Watch this space. Damn. I really hope. I'm just sitting here worried about I was getting a copyright strike now. Oh, Nuruddin, man. You've been sitting there just throwing out gifted memberships just like, I don't know. Just $1 bills. Now you're throwing out a $20 bill. More than that, actually. I'm still only going to tickle the gong because I think it will burst people's ears. We've got Rookie, you've got one. There must be so many members. Can I say to everyone here, please come and join the Discord. I'm trying my hardest to make this channel like the best of the best, the creme de la creme. Make the community the creme de la creme as well. Everybody who's part of the live show will also be in the Discord chat as well. So go over there. Nuruddin, every single day you're here, man. You are such a hero of the channel, and you're helping me make videos like that. Because they're not cheap, they are good. They are really, really good. Now, this is an interesting one. Let's move on. What we got? It is 35 minutes into the show. We've got another 15, 20 minutes to chat or so. Paul, you sound like, you're a great guy. You make me laugh. That's why I can be funny sometimes. Sometimes. You will, of course, be seeing the murmurs and whispers coming up again about Ineos's ownership of Nice and Manchester United. What if they both get into the Champions League? Won't that be a problem? And you got James Ducker here from yesterday saying that Ineos are willing to reduce their role at Nice if there's an issue with these rules. So if there's an issue with dual ownership. Now, of course, Red Bull owned Leipzig and Salzburg, and they both played each other in the Champions League. And they were able to do so because they showed enough of a separation in the ownership models of Salzburg and of Leipzig. I don't know whether, I'll be honest, I don't know whether Ratcliffe will be able to do that with Nice and Man United, because he's a direct owner of Nice, he's a direct owner of Manchester United. So I think the connecting the dots is a little bit easier. So it's not just a case of looking over at what's gone on there and go, well, it's happened over there. It'll be easy to happen over here. But I think I would be surprised if that's a problem. I really, really would be. Mate, Nuruddin, you must... I feel like I sound ungrateful now because I don't know how to react to it anymore. No community has got people like this in the community. No other community. Like the shit, that gong is not doing it justice. Let's go for a big one over here. Nuruddin. Hey, you are the guy, man. You are the guy. Thank you so much. And everybody say thank you to the main man in the comments. He really is helping to take United People's TV up to these levels because he just reinvest it back into the channel and it's wicked. It's taken us up and it's awesome. And you're all great. You really, really are, man. Hero. You know, an interesting link to Nice as well is this. Florent Gassolfi was brought in by Dave Brailsford after the audit. He was brought in alongside Francesco Farioli as a new manager. Can't remember the name of the CEO they brought in either. Anyway, he's done a very good job as Nice's sporting director. And now Liverpool are around there sniffing around Florent Gassolfi. So Jim Ratcliffe, if you want to go up there, just like slap them upside the head, that'd be nice. I can't imagine, because presumably he would have to be signed. Well, of course, presumably, it would have to be signed off by the owner. But I suppose he could hand in his resignation if he wanted to. It would depend on the gardening leave. Give Liverpool 400 years gardening leave. That'll do. Florent Gassolfi, you're staying in Nice for life, mate. But it's going to be an interesting one. You could see Liverpool going after Florent Gassolfi. I'm actually I'm not surprised. I'll be honest. I'm not surprised that Man United weren't looking at. I get a sneaking suspicion that United might get linked with Farioli maybe next year. But I suppose it depends on what goes on with Eric Ten Hag. Estevo saying last night's morphine live was lit. I had the morphine before bed and I was like, balls. Balls. And I realised that I had to do the live show. And I was like, well, this is going to be interesting. I think it was interesting. I enjoyed the show as well. Last 10 minutes of the show, I want to kind of focus on transfers a little bit. Again, because of this article that came out yesterday. Jim Ratcliffe's unable to spend big in summer after Manchester United's £555 million splurge. Man, you imagine how much of a splurge that is? Man, you could have a great weekend. Do you reckon? No, you couldn't spend fun. Well, I suppose if you bought houses and stuff. How would you spend $500 million in a weekend? Man, that would be a great video. Samuel's watching from New York. How you doing, dude? Tomorrow we can get... No, not tomorrow. Friday we can get the map up. Now, of course, FFP is a problem. And I've been speaking about this for quite a while. Ineos can't come in. It's the same thing that's happening with Newcastle. Ish. Newcastle can't come in and just spend the Saudi billions because they're restricted by financial rules. The new profit and sustainability rules are tougher than the old FFP rules. So there's no point calling them FFP anymore because they're not FFP. They're profit and sustainability rules. Everton have already been docked 10 points. Nottingham Forest are likely to get docked 10 points. affecting teams. All right. And Man United have lost, I think it'll have the numbers in here, right? We've lost big over the last couple of years. Is it 230? Is it something like that? 230 mil? Where is it down here? Come on. Bit. There you go. So United currently so it's pre-tax. I don't know whether I actually don't know this part, whether the losses that you're allowed on FFP are pre or post-tax. I don't know that. But Man United have lost over 215 mil currently over the 3-year period. But the 3-year period is going to be going up to this summer. So what we're going to be doing this season, we know exactly how we improve it. All right. I think I said it last summer, and it never really transpired because we just didn't have the people in place to actually, sell properly. This summer's going to be the one where we sell big. We sell properly. Mason Greenwood, he's going to get sold, and we should be getting, realistically, somewhere between 30 to 50 million and a decent sell-on percentage. That's what we should be getting for Mason Greenwood, and that'll be money to reinvest. Harry Maguire, I personally feel that we should be selling Harry Maguire. It's a personal opinion. I know. Not all of you are going to agree with it, but with Harry Maguire, we should be getting north of £30 million for Harry Maguire. There are other players, lots of other players that we could include in this conversation. We're obviously going to be saving money from Martial's contract. I personally, again, personal opinion, I think that a big bid's going to come in for Casemiro and Varane. I think Manchester United are likely to accept it. Maybe not the same like Casemiro and Varane as a package, but I think there's going to be big Saudi bids for both of them. And I think at their stage in their career, I think they should be allowed to take that. So again, Casemiro, Varane, Maguire, Greenwood, and there's going to be others too, going off the books. We are going to be getting a lot of money in. And on top of that is this, right? This is to do with Jim Ratcliffe's $200 million investment and the extra 100 mil that's coming. And this is Kieran Maguire. You know who Kieran Maguire is. He's been on the channel before. He was speaking about it here. He goes, yes, that 300 million euros could be used in the transfer market. And unless there's a specific covenant in the financing or the funding provided by Sir Jim, they can use it. Ultimately, the money is going into a pot. And how that pot is used is determined by the executives of the club. So, of course, that means that Man United's FFP or PSR, profit and sustainability rules, is immediately improved because your losses can be 105 million over 3 years and not 15 million if that 90 million comes from owner investment, which it absolutely will from Jim Ratcliffe. So that gives United a bit more leeway. Good start. More is needed and sales are needed. United are going to sell big. We've got the people in charge. Look at that, 388,000. Bang on. It's cool. Isn't that cool how that updates properly in the corner? How you doing, gang? 388. We got 12,000 until we reach 400k. We got to do a giveaway at 400k, don't we? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, we do. If you're new and you haven't subscribed, make sure you do subscribe. Steve, you sent a super chat. Let me read that. Varane is for free. Yeah, sorry, of course, Varane would leave for free. Fair points in the comments. But that's going to be a huge wage saved on the bill. Can we not use a 200 mil to reset FFP, or I'm missing something? Well, Steve, I just explained that. It can be used as part of it. I don't know whether it's all going to be used. How much of it's going to be used? We don't know. But Kieran Maguire is saying that it can, for sure, partly be used. So Jim Ratcliffe, when he did complete the takeover, said that 300 million overall, is going to be used for infrastructure in Manchester United. Transfers are probably, if we're looking at short, medium and long-term things that require improvement, the red flag is all over transfers. Recruitment is the biggest problem that we've got at this football club. And that's one that's going to be immediately affecting every aspect of it. So the recruitment is going to be the big one. That's why I don't think we're going to be waiting long before we find out about the head of recruitment. We need whoever comes in as a head of recruitment to have time. It's nearly March. We've got, when's the end of the season? Towards the end of April. When is the last game of the season this season? Let's have a look. 1 second. I've got that song in my head now. I'm going to be... I'll actually cry, I think, if we got a copyright strike for that. I don't think we will. I'll cut it out after. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, 19th of May. Right, okay, got that wrong. So, 19th of May is the end of the season. So, hypothetical situation. We get our, answer on a postcard or in the comments, either or. When do you think we will get our head of recruitment by? Okay? So, Brailsford and Ratcliffe, we've got Dan Ashworth, and I personally don't think we're going to have him before the summer. I think we're going to have to deal without our sporting director for this summer. So that it's going to have to be a contingency plan to deal with it, and this will be the last summer that's affected by it. But we know that past this summer, we're going to have him in. When do you think we're going to get a head of recruitment in? Given that our final game of the season is the 19th of May, and transfers plans should already be laid out. Really, shouldn't they? You should already know your top targets. You should already know your second, third, fourth choices in each area. And I know the summer tour, man, it's just... The summer tour won't be as bad in the US if Manchester United can just stick to one bloody area. America's huge. You can't be flying East Coast. You can't go New York, next day be playing in Cali, and then go Texas. Like, choose a base. Base out of somewhere. Base somewhere central. I don't know. Chicago's pretty central, isn't it? Where is Chicago? Is it like central north? Have I got that wrong? Central-ish. Well, more central than New York. Not really central. Where do you reckon would be the best place for Man United to park themselves? Park themselves is a weird phrase. In America. I'm not going to go Kansas, are they? I ain't going Kansas. I don't know. Chicago still seems pretty fine to me. But lots of you are saying April. Yeah, Chicago's northeast, but it's a little bit less northeast than New York, which is right on the coast. Tax year would make sense, says Jordan. What you mean for the sporting director coming in? Tax year doesn't really change much. Not with appointments. Just have to have a good accountant. He deals with all that. That's the accountant's problem. Lots of you are saying around about April time. I don't know when it's going to be. But when it comes to this structure, right, we've already got Barada, we've got Dan Ashworth. We are going to be getting a head of recruitment. We are going to be getting another executive, probably Jason Wilcox, to work underneath, which means that there is a possibility that by the time the summer comes around, we've got a new CEO, a new sporting director, a new deputy sporting director, a new head of recruitment. That's 4 appointments, 4 major appointments. And there could be another 1 or 2 underneath that as well. And then you're going to get your smaller ones like scouting departments. I don't know, anything else in between. But boy, is change coming. And it started now. It's officially done. Woo! I'm here crapping myself about that. I shouldn't have done that. Sometimes you just get excited. Anyway, how good does that look? Man, I love doing this sort of top quality content. Jivak. Not much to say. Big up to you, Sam. You're clearly on painkillers, not 100% comfortable. Yeah, I'm shifting in my seat. I'm not shifting in my seat because shifting in my seat. I'm not shifting in my seat because my foot's uncomfortable. Because this seat is rock bloody solid and my ass hurts. Honestly, my leg feels quite good. My ass is killing me. Why do they not put cushions on these things? Why not put cushions? I suppose you're only supposed to kneel on this thing. I'm sitting on it because I've got to do the live show. Last 10 minutes of the show. Last couple of minutes of the show. Fire in your questions. I'll try and answer as many of your questions as possible. But the change has begun. It started. Dan Ashworth, I don't know how long this is going to take. I imagine it's going to take a fair while. My prediction is that he won't be in time for the summer. And I think we're going to contingency plan to work without Dan Ashworth's direct involvement. Of course, he'll be there on the burner phone helping anyway. We'll see. Carl is saying need to invest in a more comfortable chair. Dude, I've got my comfortable chair. I just can't sit on it right now. I've got to sit on this little stool thing. My chair's out of the room. That chair's lovely. This one ain't. Damn. Ricky, has Gary Neville never responded to you? No, he never has. I'd love to get Gary on the channel, man. We'll get some interviews at some point soon. I'm just so stacked and busy that I can't really do too many things too quickly. And I'd love to get more interviews on there. But look, I'm sitting on a cushion. This cushion is doing sweet FA. That's all I'm saying. But look, that was a cracking show. I enjoyed that. Thank you all for tuning in. I enjoyed it. Thank you all for Jibak for your super chat. To Steve, to Ramon as well, to Nuruddin as well. All of you, you're all legends. You contributing to the channel is helping me make those sorts of videos that I want to make more of, and more is coming. We're actually going to be launching, hopefully on Friday, a new style of content here on United People's TV. Shorter, more consumable, story-driven narratives about big talking points. That's what I want to do. And it adds on top of the deep dives, which are more insightful and educational, and the live shows, different types of content, different strokes for different folks. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to go and cut that video out now so it definitely doesn't get shut down for copyright. Much love. Big up to all of you. I'll be here tomorrow morning, and I'll be here at lunchtime as always with another video. Take it easy.